Hi, I'm Akhara.
I'm Rohan Nahar.
Welcome to the Log Tech. This week we're discussing the new Aamir Khan movie, Sitaare Zameen Par, not a sequel to Taare Zameen Par, despite the confusing name. It's actually a remake of a Spanish movie called Champions from like 7 years ago or something, which was also made in the US and other languages from what I know, but I've not seen any of the original ones. But yeah, what is going on here, bro?
This is like one of those Deshbhakti ka movies that you can't really complain about because then you're like anti-national.
Right.
But yeah, this is like terrible.
Yeah, like, I mean, well intentions does not make a good movie, right?
Yeah. Also like good intentions aside, like I don't know, like I might be in the hyper minority,
Hmm.
but like who would actively mean harm towards forget like neurodivergent people, but like even others, right? In this world. I mean people do, but I would like to assume that nobody goes out to their way in regular life to be like, nah, I'm going to,
No, but
be
that's what
mean
the
to
movie
someone.
spends like 50 minutes on, right? Is that Amir's character is essentially a stand-in for people who like judge people who are not quote unquote not normal. And he's like, he's the guy who shows up and he's been calling them, refuses to not call them anything but pagal, which is how he gets sentenced to this job. So I think that's the crowd like the movie's aiming for. Like, it's like so blunt about it that's almost like annoying to a degree.
But what if you're not part of that car? What are you supposed to do with the movie then? We watch this idiot.
That's my issue. Is like it just I feel like the movie is only built, and why would they listen to you, right? If you're actually part of the crowd, and if you go in their face with like a hammer and be like suno 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 for like 2 or 40 minutes, why will they listen to you? You have to be like Israel about it, right?
Do you remember that film Mimi? I don't know if we did it on the podcast many years ago.
No, I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. So there was this movie called Mimi, and then there was this movie called Chori, right? And both of those movies ended with like this huge like text on the screen, kind of statistics about female infanticide, etc.
Yeah,
etc.
I was
Chori
half
especially.
expecting that here, honestly.
Yeah. So I remember thinking also like nobody's going like no child killer is going to watch Chori and be like, "Nahi, ab mera, I've changed my mind now."
Yeah.
Which is this movie in a nutshell. Also, like why would you first of all assume that everybody in the world is like Amir's character? No, they're not. Like we aren't like, and it's not like he's mean towards just. It's not like he's just saying pagal pagal. He gets fired for like assault, right?
Yep.
Which he deserves.
Yep.
He deserves to be fired for that. And he's like, but how could you?
Not
Because
even
you
fired. He's just
hit some.
suspended, by the way. Like he's
Oh,
they're okay with like bringing him back at some point. He's suspended.
सोचो and
Yeah.
and he's like how could you like मैंने तो बस मारा है उसको अरे भाई
Yeah. कुछ हुआ भी नहीं था
and then
उसको.
हाँ and then he's like he gets drunk which itself is a crime and then he like rams into a cop car
Yep.
double crime
Yep.
right and then he has the entitlement to be like अरे what ऐसे तो सब लोग करते हैं हाँ हाँ जो
Yeah.
and then he's being mean to his wife right
Mhm.
whom he has been ignoring for several days or the entire season it's led
Yeah.
to
Something like that. Like yeah, like at least 1 or 2 weeks when it starts. They've been living separate.
या पूरे सीज़न नहीं आई आपकी बीवी, क्या हो गया? तो because she's not living with him and he hasn't bothered to kind of also he's decided that because my wishes are superior than yours, so I will be the crybaby here. And
Yep.
he's overall terrible.
Yeah.
It's not like matlab
Which is like
one
completely intentional. Like Amir Khan wants to showcase that he believes that he's addressing this crowd, which like
but then why
like
can't it would have been so much more believable and so much easier to kind of gain kind of a like an in into this movie if you had just shown him to be a regular person who's going about his life. But in this aspect, he's a little backward, right? Which might be true of so many people in
yeah.
the real world, except like this guy is like an outright criminal, like really detestable person. So I'm like, इसको तो सुधारने का तो point ही नहीं है ना. Let him like whatever. I don't even care about him.
Yeah.
And first of all, why are we watching this movie through his perspective, right?
Yeah.
ये कहाँ से आ गई है? ये क्यों important है?
If you're saying that, like which they try to like force fit and like and into dialogue towards the end is like, no, मैं तो coach था ही नहीं, वो मेरे coach थे. Then
hit you.
show me the movie from their point of view, no, the entire time then.
Which I thought that he did the last time around in Lal Singh Chaddha.
Yeah.
The entire movie was from, Sardarji ka point of view. And the Sardarji was on the spectrum, even though I don't think they say it in as many words. But basically, that movie was from his point of view. And that's why that movie, I don't know if Amir has learned the wrong lessons or whatever of this one was already off the ground many years before that. But, that one flopped and this one did well. So what does that say about society?
I don't think it says anything. Over the years, he has done this podcast. We have seen enough movies which we are just like, इसमें एक कोड़ी का value नहीं है, and then they do like blockbuster business. So
हाँ,
those two things are you know interlocked.
forget इस movie का whatever weird kind of bizarre worldview, which is
Yeah.
like you are, like everybody is basically a terrible person, but we will instead present it to be like this really broad comedy for some reason.
Yeah.
So forget that for a minute. It's really badly made also.
Yeah, that's my other problem, right? It's like I would maybe like go with the journey of this like annoying Indian man child who is going to like eventually be redeemed or whatever. If like filmmaking was like even like 30% better. But I like my ask is also like so little now. Like I don't even expect too much, right? But like it's so bad. It's so bad, like but consistently it's bad for like ages. Like it's just scene after scene is just like criminally poor.
हाँ मतलब कैमरा फोकस तो कर लो थोड़ा सा like
Yeah.
stop. And I don't know who told these people that whenever you have to shoot sports you have to just move things around very quickly
Yeah.
so that I don't know man, just pay
Fir-
attention to some
First things
choreography.
first, every single basketball scene is completely unnecessary. It is not a sports movie. Please remove every sports scene. Just show me like the face of people on the bench, like unke reaction to what's happening. Because it's not like you're showing me anything worthwhile in any basketball scene. I have not like by looking at the basketball scene, you will not feel any thrill or like how the game is played or what happens in basketball here and there or like stuff like that. कुछ नहीं सीखोगे तुम. You will learn nothing.
You're supposed to take the Queen's Gambit approach in things like this.
Yep.
Or even like one of those like jua wala movies where you like Casino Royale even.
Yeah.
But यहाँ पर तो समझ नहीं है ना. They think that they've made F1 where we need to show
लोग लोग वॉक कर रहे हैं कोर्ट पे यार. लोग वॉक कर रहे हैं बाकी लोग खड़े हैं. मैं क्या हो रहा है फिर बाकी इस शॉट है क्यों तुम्हारे एडिट में मतलब और शॉट 10 बार क्यों है फकत एक बार.
because Aamir Khan's face looks really weird for some reason.
Yeah, एक तो
Like they've done
I think
some.
at least for 45 minutes. I think I stopped paying attention after like the first hour, but for at least the first 45 minutes, he's got this like intentionally he's made his like eyebrows arch. So they're like lower in the center and then they're like curving outwards. Like he's almost like, like he's this man child with anger issues or whatever. I think he's trying to portray it. I'm like, stop. Like his ear itself, here feel like they're protruding. His hair also feels like his head, like entire thing. I'm just like, क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Like it doesn't. He's trying to play what? Like is he supposed to be like a 30-ish year old? What is happening here?
I think I was wondering about this because he's 60 in real life.
Yeah.
And it looks like they've spent a lot of money on like just, smoothing out his face to make him look 30. And then I'm like, wouldn't this movie be better if this man has lived 60 years of his life?
Yeah, like he's a washed out guy
Yeah.
who's like achieved nothing in his life, and even at his lowest, he's like such a terrible person. And then maybe appearing, why does he need to be 30-ish? Just because you have to put like a love story or some marriage thing into it, like bacha nahi hua hai, so he can't be too old, otherwise like he would have learned his lesson or whatever. And it's also so weird. I mean, to like I haven't seen Genelia in ages.
She's very bad.
Yeah, forget that. But like if I see Aamir like romancing Genelia, like the last time I saw someone romancing Genelia was like his nephew Imran. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like Bollywood, like literally, like you went one generation up here and the other two were like, huh, that woman can just play her again. I'm like, what?
And they were so shameless. They're like, oh, Amir cast somebody who's not, like 20 opposite him. And I'm like, that. I mean, she's still 30 years younger.
Yeah.
man.
Exactly. Like, and there's like no respect for this. Like, she could be playing his daughter,
Yeah.
but instead she's playing his wife.
You could still retain the love story and you could still retain the redemption arc and you can still retain. I mean, there are like 60-year-old, 70-year-old coaches in India, right?
Yep.
It's not unheard of.
Yep.
You can retain all those elements and make him play someone closer to his actual age. And that immediately adds like 2% more, like gravity to the movie. But instead, like, ये तो पूरा is like Chaplin, it's like slapstick sa almost, no?
Yeah.
This film.
Yeah, as far as full, it's like that's the vibe it's going for. Kitni baar there are sound effects to ensure that you get the joke. And I'm like, okay, stop.
You know what the biggest problem, and this movie has so many problems that we've discussed already. The biggest problem I feel that towards the end, when he makes that speech that you spoke about a few minutes ago, where he's like, "Maine inse seekha hai," that's like 2.5 hours into the movie, right? 2 hours 15 or 2 hours 20 minutes into the movie. And even then, in his speech, he is still saying, he's still othering the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And the entire movie is supposed to be like, oh, let's normalize this, whatever. No, but if you keep saying ye log, wo log,
Yeah.
inse maine seekha hai, and you keep highlighting that this team is like a separate entity that does not exist in the real world,
Yeah.
and they have come from some alien planet and instilled some sort of wisdom into this man, that defeats the purpose. You are still othering them.
Yeah.
It is not part of your. And I think that pura picture dekhne ke baad, has nobody sat down and said, oh, perhaps our lens is a little like, but they made 12th fail and gave it all the awards in the world, so
That's the problem, right?
fine.
Like,
Mm.
this is a full, like, pat yourself on the back scenario. That's what's happening here. They are like celebrating us. Like, oh my God, look at us. You're spending crores building a movie for these people.
Yeah,
That's how they
you're
see
right,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, he has this weird, like, it's like a savior complex, but
Yeah,
he's like,
full.
look, look,
Everything.
look, I'm.
We need to create like a brown savior genre term now for these people because that's what they're doing in this point.
He doesn't realize that by saying that, no, they saved me. That doesn't change the fact that, no, you see yourself as the savior by making this movie.
Yeah.
The world is not confined inside the frames of this film. There is so much more context to
Yeah.
it, right? Somebody spent money, somebody hired you. अगर तेरे को hire नहीं करते तो उनमें से किसी को hero बना देना, अगर इतना ही देखो
And like
करना है.
20 minutes or 30 minutes before that dialogue, he like I think is at some point like they reconcile, right? The husband and wife. And he says things to her face she has known like 3 months ago. I'm like, this woman knows you were not on the correct page. She knows what the problem was. And now you are explaining your marriage ka solution to the person who has already known. And she's standing there smiling and she's like, ha, Gulshan, of course, I want us to be a couple. I'm like, oh my God, punch him in the face.
I can't stand. I haven't seen her in maybe years, maybe since 2008. But
Yeah.
this is,
Pretty sure. That's why I was like, my first reaction was, wait, the uncle is now romancing the same woman.
and my first reaction was like, yes, it is a muscle and you need to exercise it. And clearly you've not been doing that. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like the acting is so bad in this movie from both these people. Like Aamir Khan is like
Yeah.
just terrible. It's cringe.
Aamir, I feel like is deliberately like playing a full on like he wants to like clearly play this character on like steroids. I'm like, no, you need to tone it down.
This man takes no direction, right? At this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard like he like goes directs movies.
So the first one he literally stole, right, from the original director, Taare Zameen Par. But this one though, like,
And that was like 18 years ago. So his stature is only like solidified in the industry. So at this point, like I doubt
मेरे को
things are changing.
so this guy has the opposite problem to like Salman Khan. Salman Khan will show up, take no direction, and be lazy. This guy will show up, take no direction, and just be on coke the whole time. The problem is neither of them is taking. Only Shah Rukh Khan is taking direction.
Yeah. It's why it's so annoying that like the Tal Dalki is going bad about it. This guy is a perfectionist, and I'm like, oh, like how dare
He's
you?
perfected the art of being terrible.
He's perfected the art of like the even PR around that term.
Yeah.
Like, how is everyone still like using that? Like, are you blind while watching?
And like at one point in this movie, he does that thing where he like snarls and he's like really angry, and you can see it, and it's the same face he did like Dil Chahta Hai like 25 years when he crashes the wedding or something at the end.
Oh
Like,
God.
तो ये तो पूरा कॉमेडी है और वो सीरियस ड्रामेटिक मोमेंट था, बट तेरा फेस सेम है
Yeah.
दोनों में. That's not perfection. So that's why Shah Rukh wins national award.
Yeah. They'll give it like the what's that wholesome movie wala?
Yeah, wholesome entertainment.
Yeah. और सोशल वाला अवार्ड भी है उनके पास है वो भी तो पा देंगे
वो नेशनल समथिंग भी होता है, बट इसमें
इंटीग्रिटी के लिए उस पे होता है ना अवार्ड
हाँ
लाइक हाँ कीपिंग द कंटेंट टुगेदर की उसके लिए भी पकड़ा देंगे 2-3 अवार्ड मिल जाएंगे स्पेशली यू हैव अ कोड फ्रॉम द गाय एट द फ्रंट ऑफ द मूवी
वो यार
बिल्ट इन लाइक क्रेड नो इट्स लाइक एक सर देखो आपको ऑलरेडी इंप्रेस कर दिया अब तो अवार्ड दे दो
I went to watch Dhadak 2 and it had like a literal 4-minute long disclaimer which someone read in words across 4
व्हाट्स
yeah.
you're trying to rhyme right
No, honestly, so I'll tell you. So it begins like as you would expect it to, and there is no resemblance to any person living dead, etc. We don't mean to harm any, whatever. And then at some point, I'm like, Karan Johar got so angry, and then he's like, अब तो मैं prank करूँगा. Towards the end, it's like इस picture में बच्चे थे, उनको कुछ नहीं हुआ, वो ठीक सही सलामत हैं. इस पिक्चर में जानवर हैं, उनको भी कुछ नहीं हुआ, पिक्चर में एक्टर्स हैं, it just went full parody.
There's a future of Bollywood at some point.
No, it's like testing if you're paying attention, because toward the end,
No, right? No, right. What happens is because like I predicted that all of our cinema chains have a certain like buffer, right? Of like how many ads they will show. So I predict ki this cinema chain the one for 10 minutes or like 2 minutes. I will go in accordingly. Like you try to predict that. In I think 10 years we will start having to add like an additional buffer. Like see how this
Disclaimer.
15 minute ad ka hai, फिर 15 minute disclaimer ka hai, then you will go in.
yeah. Full dystopia. No, if like a Muslim person has made the movie, then you have to add 5 more minutes.
Or like no, this movie was made by a non-Hindu director. We apologize.
हाँ, full 5 minutes उसमें add कर दो. Then you do the maths in your head. अच्छा, oh, so upper caste Hindu, we need to be on time.
Oh God.
क्या nonsense है ये picture को, but this is like full 12th fail all
Yeah.
over again. No, like just complete obliviousness real world का, which is ironic because the movie is about that.
Yeah. How is the movie like 160 minutes long? It convey the story in like how the
Because they have, I'll tell you now, because they have that nonsense Mummy and Brajendra Kala. Like, as the biggest Brajendra Kala fan on this planet, even I was like, ye chup hai yahan par. They have a full subplot.
that's why he's in the background for the first 50 minutes. I'm like, ये इधर क्यों घूम रहा है?
I thought he's going to turn into like a chef for the teeth. कि अब मैं तुम्हें अच्छा खाना
वो तो
खिलाऊं.
सब कोई खा गया.
And then it turns into like bizarrely towards the end, it turns into like during the final match, it turns into आमिर का Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
He's like, पूरी life मेरे को टिंगू बोला है.
Yeah. अभी मैं बास्केटबॉल सॉल्व करूंगा. My solution is पास नीचे से. हमें बास्केट तो ऊपर है ना. वो कैसे अचीव होगा? And miraculously, like it's not like what he had to come up with then was like a dual solution of like we need to score, right? And they need to stop them also, like defense. It's a sport. But no, miraculously they solved the first thing. And second thing is automatically stalled. The other team stopped scoring for some reason. I'm like, why are they stuck? What it like they can still pass on upar, no?
His master stroke. You can just imagine, like, like this is so like conceited sa movie, na, like secretly sa. It's all about like Aamir and his like demons and like his guilt and his. If you like analyze it, like he's felt so bad about, I don't know what he's done in his personal life, that this is the kind of thing that happens only when you're like super guilty, right? When Brad Pitt made like, do you remember when Brad Pitt produced like She Said, Women Talking, like 5 like feminist movies in
Yeah.
because he was
It's like, oh my god, like I've treated like Angelina Jolie very bad. How do I redeem my image? I must like, yeah, what you just did.
It was like he's calling attention to himself कि भाई तूने क्या किया है, क्या guilt है? It's like Dibakar Banerjee almost. Well, this one is like Aamir Khan ka, like all the complexes that he has faced in his life is in this movie, and I don't know if I'm
I mean, yeah,
interested.
there's nothing interesting about it, right? It's not like you're doing like great filmmaking and then you're doing like something poorly part of it and you're like, okay, okay, I'll forgive that, because you're
A lot of great sports movies are made very plainly,
Yeah.
and they follow the formula, and you're like, yes, we know what we're in. It's not like Scorsese has made this. It's not like Raging Bull.
Yeah.
But like a regular run-of-the-mill sports movie, like even that Kevin Costner movie where the kids run in like.
Or even just like what you just mentioned 5 minutes ago, F1, like it's a very vanilla story at the end of the day.
But highest level.
Exactly. So then, like, at least for 2 hours that it's happening, you're hooked. Uske baad you're like, oh, maybe like hens weren't like that rosy. I don't know what I take away from the movie, but ठीक है, like I was enjoyed it when I was in there. भाई यहाँ तो वो भी नहीं है ना. Like, why am I watching this? Why am I like pushing myself to like, what am I waiting for? What grand thing is going to come at some point?
Even at the end, for some reason, he decides to leave without saying goodbye. And then he has to have this, that's why this movie is so long. You just had like 5-10 minutes extra because of his completely unprompted decision to leave without saying goodbye. Just say goodbye. You could still have your
Yeah.
scene.
Oh, I don't think it's like a single decision. And I was like, oh my god, okay, something different, unique. Wow.
I know one. I thought about this because I always wonder about, is there any redeeming quality? The one redeeming quality is that his, I wouldn't say transformation, but his approach to the kids and the team isn't jarring, like how it evolves, right?
Yeah. That stuff comes, like, like when they go on the bus thing and come back, he's like, it's slowly baked in. Like, उनको pizza खिला रहा है, he's taking care of them, उसका shoe बांध रहा है. Like, he himself does not realize he's doing it.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing which feels like, yeah, like he's changing slowly, but because then they hammer you the same thing half an hour later with dialogue, we're like, now because you've insulted my intelligence, I mute you. Like, I understood, I got the point.
Not only has the movie insulted your intelligence, it has assumed that you think like it does.
Yeah, back to wrong, right? Like हमने मूवी बनाई है मैन चिल्ड्रन के लिए और मैन चिल्ड्रन देखने आएंगे, हमारी ऑडियंस वही है, उनको ही समझाएंगे, उनको 3 बार कील मारो नहीं तो उनको समझ नहीं आएगा.
Complete garbage. Chalo.
That's all for this episode of The Long Take. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Threads, and Instagram at The Long Take Pod. You can write to us at thelongtakepod@gmail.com. Please leave us a rating and a review wherever you say below, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.